Welcome students to the second part of the soft skill first semester BTech previous year question paper, in which we are going to discuss the section C, which is long answer questions. Okay, in the previous video we discussed section A and section B, and I gave you the full solution for the same and how to go about it. Now in this video we will see the section C, which is basically long answer questions, descriptive type of questions, and some part of grammar are also included. So let's start the video and see how we can write or approach the answers well that will give you or fetch you excellent marks. Let's start. Now this is the part that we have to cover in this video. Section C, it consists of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 questions having subparts and options along with it. Each question is having 10 marks, okay? And you have to, for example, in question 3, there are 2 parts and you have to attempt any one part, which is of 10 marks. Again, same for question number 4, wherein you have to attempt any one part of 10 marks. Again here, any one part out in question number 5, 1 and 2, which is of 10 marks. And again in question number 6, any one part you have to do, which is of 10 marks. And same goes for question 7 as well. So let's see and find out the best solution for these questions, and that will help you to prepare for further examinations in future. Let's start. The very first question says, identify and explain the skills required for effective interpersonal communication with special reference to emotional intelligence, attitude, responsibility, empathy, and listening skills. Now we need to understand the questions first. What is it asking? Unless we understand the question, we will not be able to find a particular solution or the appropriate solution. So before answering, first we have to read the question 2-3 times. Okay, understand it and then go for the answer. Don't just read once and start writing. This is the mistake that we often commit. तो पहले हमें क्वेश्चंस को 2 से 3 बार अच्छे से पढ़कर समझ लेना है, उसके बाद हमें आंसर्स फाइंड आउट करने हैं, ठीक है? और फिर हम आंसर्स के बारे में सोचेंगे और लिखना शुरू करेंगे. क्वेश्चन में क्या कह रहा है? आइडेंटिफाई करना, हमें पहचानना और एक्सप्लेन करना वो सारे स्किल्स जो इफेक्टिव इंटरपर्सनल कम्युनिकेशन को कर सकते हैं इन रिगार्ड्स टू और रेफरेंस टू इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस को लेकर, एटीट्यूड, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, एम्पैथी एंड लिसनिंग स्किल्स. इन सबको इंप्रूव करने के लिए वो सारे कौन से इंटरपर्सनल स्किल्स हैं जो रिक्वायर्ड होंगे. तो आइए हम एक एक करके देखते हैं. लेट्स सी द सॉल्यूशन व्हिच आई हैव प्रिपेयर्ड. नाउ as we know what is, first of all we'll understand what is interpersonal communication. The communication that takes place between two people or more than two people, ठीक है, is known as interpersonal communication. As I told you in the previous video, it may be verbal, it may be non-verbal. Now emotional intelligence, it involves being aware of one's feelings, controlling emotions in stressful situations and showing empathy towards others. सो व्हाट इज इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस? इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस का मतलब है आप अपनी फीलिंग्स को हम कंट्रोल जब करते हैं, अपने इमोशंस को कंट्रोल करते हैं स्ट्रेसफुल कंडीशंस में, और एम्पैथी शो करते हैं टुवर्ड्स अदर्स. एम्पैथी मैंने पहले बताया था आपको. एम्पैथी क्या होता है? टू फील द पेन ऑफ अदर्स. नाउ इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस हेल्प्स इन एस्टैब्लिशिंग रैपो, रिजॉल्विंग कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स एंड फॉस्टरिंग पॉजिटिव रिलेशनशिप्स थ्रू इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन. तो ये हमें एक रैपो बनाने के लिए मदद करता है, हमारे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स या डिसएग्रीमेंट्स को रिजॉल्व करता है और पॉजिटिव रिलेशनशिप्स को बनाने में मदद करता है थ्रू इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन. सो दिस वाज अबाउट इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस. नाउ लेट्स सी द सेकंड पार्ट, दैट इज एटीट्यूड. नाउ इट इन्वॉल्व्स बीइंग रिसेप्टिव टू अदर्स आइडियाज एंड ओपिनियंस. ओके, रिसेप्टिव का मतलब है ध्यान से सुनना दूसरे के आइडियाज को और ओपिनियंस को, एंड maintaining a non-judgmental approach. You should not judge any other person. Non-judgmental approach, and demonstrating the willingness to collaborate and find common ground. So we should always be inclined towards collaboration and finding place with others to work for. A positive attitude fosters trust, encourages open dialogue, and enhances understanding and communication. So what did it say? A positive attitude always fosters trust. Fosters trust का मतलब क्या होता है कि हमारे ट्रस्ट को बिल्ड अप करने में मदद करता है. encourage करता है open dialogues को बोलने में, and enhances understanding in communication, और communication को better understand करने में हमारी मदद करता है. Next is responsibility. It involves being accountable for one's communication, choices, and actively seeking to avoid misunderstanding or conflicts. Okay, taking responsibility for one's words, actions, and their impact is essential for effective interpersonal communication. So it says it involves being accountable for one's communication, choices, and actively seeking to avoid misunderstandings. Whatever things we are doing, whatever communication we are taking place, okay, seeking to avoid misunderstanding. It should happen in such a way that it should not create any kind of misunderstandings between you and the other person. Conflicts taking place, okay, and taking the responsibility for your words and actions. Whatever you are doing or whatever you are speaking, you should be responsible. Okay, if you say something, you should accept it that yes, you have said it in your full senses, as it impacts the effective interpersonal communication. Why? Because it affects your interpersonal communication. So you should be responsible towards your behavior and you're saying whatever you have, whatever you are delivering to others. Next is empathy. It involves actively listening to others. Okay, first we listen to others, trying to see situations from their point of view and responding with sensitivity and understanding. Empathy refers to the ability to understand and share feelings, thoughts, and perspectives of others. So we should first try to listen to the people, their problems, and we should try to feel the pain of others. We should try to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes, and then we need to act accordingly and speak accordingly. And this is how the empathy works, and interpersonal communication skills develops our relationships. Now, when it comes to listening skills, what it means, it involves actively paying attention to what others are saying. We need to focus on what other people are saying. We need to pay attention to their words, understanding their message well, and responding appropriately. Accordingly, you have to respond. Listening skills include techniques such as maintaining eye contact, asking clarifying questions, paraphrasing to confirm understanding, and providing feedback. So this is what listening skills incorporate, okay, and it includes like maintaining eye contact with the person. You should ask questions to clarify your doubts. Paraphrasing means whether you have understood the thing and you are saying it in your own words. So doing all these things involves a active listening skills, which is again needed for the interpersonal communication. Now it says overall these skills work together to create foundation for effective interpersonal communication. All these things work together to create an effective interpersonal communication. So this could be a probable answer, a best fit answer for the question. If you want to take the screenshot, you can take the screenshot of this. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Explain what is presentation and construct its various methods. So this was asked, okay, and we need to understand what presentation is and what are the different ways of constructing it. So first, in context of software development and user interfaces, a presentation refers to the visual and interactive layer of an application that enables users to interact with and perceive the underlying data or functionality. Next, the method used to construct a presentation can vary depending on the technologies and framework being utilized. So what is presentation? Presentation के बारे में ये बताया हुआ है कि presentation is a kind of user interface that refers to a visual interaction between people or group of people, okay, with a particular objective, with a particular functionality of the same. Okay, so whatever your object is, or if you want to deliver a content, if your objective is to give training to the people, you can do it with this user friendly interface, which is created through various processes and various other softwares. Now the method used to construct our presentation can vary depending on the technology. So it depends on the technology and framework that is being utilized. Okay, now the next part of the question says construct its various methods. Now, what are the various methods of constructing a presentation? So it says here are some common methods for constructing presentations. What are these? Number one, it says HTML slash CSS, HTML hypertext markup language. This is one language in which you can make a presentation. Then we have JavaScript, framework and libraries, presentation software, data visualization libraries, mobile app development. Okay. It's important to note that these methods are not mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means they can be used if and when required simultaneously. Okay. And they can be combined depending on the requirements of the project. So all these which I told you, they can be combined, okay, together to form a good presentation. So this was the answer of this question. Next question says, what is teamwork? Explain the various stages of development with the help of example. So in the first question, in this question, we will explain first what the teamwork is all about. We'll have to give a definition of it. So teamwork refers to collaborative effort of a group of individuals who work together towards common goal, utilizing their diverse skills and abilities. The stages of team development, commonly known as Tuxman stages of group development, are as follows. So these are the different stages of teamwork. So basically the definition says that it is a group of people doing a collective work to achieve a particular goal. That is what teamwork is all about. Now, what are the stages in the teamwork? First stage, forming. Okay, this is the initial stage where the team is formed and members are getting to know each other. When a particular team is formed, okay, and the members of the team are introduced to each other, okay, and they are forming a group, they are getting to know each other. This is the initial stage. For example, if you imagine a project team of being formed in a software development company, the team members are introduced to each other and are gathering information about their background, skills, and experiences. Also, the project manager assigns initial tasks to team members and encourages open communication to establish a positive team dynamic. So, what does it mean? When a new team is forming, okay, the manager is assigning the initial task of getting to know each other, okay, collecting their backgrounds, their skills and experience information regarding that, okay, and then forming a particular team. So this is the very first and initial stage of teamwork. Next comes storming. Now, in this stage, conflicts, differences of opinion, and power struggles may arise as team members start to assert themselves. So, in storming, the people try to uh, impose themselves on one another. They try to dominate other. Like in the same software development team, during the storming stage, conflict may arise due to differences in coding practices. Maybe people having different coding patterns or different kinds of techniques of coding may differ. Design preferences also may differ, or conflict in opinions on the project direction. Okay, and the team members may engage in heated discussion. So they may go for a heated discussion or debates to resolve these issues, okay, and reach a consensus on how to move forward. And after giving on this on and after getting into this heated discussions, okay, they may access or they may conclude on consensus on how to move forward. So it is actually not desirable to get into any kind of heated discussion or debate and then to move forward with a particular conclusion. So this is the second stage of team forming or teamwork, that is storming. Now, norming, during this stage, team members start to resolve their differences, establish common goals, and develop a sense of cohesion. They move forward with a common viewpoint and try to avoid getting into any kind of conflict or disagreement. So, an example, if we see in the software development team during the norming stage, team members begin to appreciate each other's expertise and recognize the importance of working together. Also, they establish coding standards, agree on common project line, and start distributing tasks based on individual efforts and strengths. Okay, now the team starts to develop a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose. Camaraderie means a feeling of working together in a friendly environment. Okay, so जिसको हम हिंदी में सौहार्द बोलते हैं, तो सौहार्द की भावना से जो टीम है वो एक साथ काम करना यहां शुरू कर देती है. नेक्स्ट स्टेज अगर हम देखें, जो हमारा नेक्स्ट स्टेज है, दैट इज परफॉर्मिंग स्टेज. Now here at this stage the team is highly productive and functional at its best. It function at its best. The team members have established effective communication channels. Now examples in the software. So performing stage. Now performing at this stage the team is highly productive and functioning at its best. The team members have established effective communication channels, trust each other, and work collaboratively towards achieving the team's objectives. So performing stage में क्या होता है, टीम जो है वो फुल पोटेंशियल के साथ परफॉर्म करती है, आपस में कोलैबोरेट करते हुए. अगर हम एग्जांपल देखें, इन द सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट टीम, उसी टीम की एग्जांपल अगर लें, ड्यूरिंग द परफॉर्मिंग स्टेज टीम मेंबर्स आर वर्किंग एफिशिएंटली, completing tasks within deadlines and delivering high quality code. Also, they are in sync, effectively coordinating their efforts and continuously improving their processes. The team is proactive in addressing challenges and adapting to the changes. So they are very much proactive. Proactive means they don't wait for things to happen, they get the things done on themselves. Okay, so they are very much active on their foot and they try to complete the work within the given deadline. So this is what the performing stage is all about. Next stage is adjourning. Now this stage is not always included in Tuxman's model, but it represents a disbanding of the team. Disbanding means separating of the team after completing its objectives. Now it's an opportunity to recognize contributions, provide feedback, and ensure a smooth closure. Okay, so after this all has been done, the adjourning processes takes place in order to recognize the contributions of each other and provide a positive feedback along with a smooth closure. For example, in the same team during the adjourning stage, the project is successfully completed, means they have accomplished their task, and the team members reflect on their accomplishments. They celebrate the milestones achieved, conduct a less earned session, and acknowledge each other's contributions. The team members then move on to a new project or assignments. And it's important to note that team may not always progress linearly through these stages and they can experience setbacks or regress to earlier stages. So this is another important aspect of this thing. Next question says, do as directed. Now there are certain questions and instructions along with it. Okay, so let's see. In the first part of do as directed, it is asked to define prefix and suffix. What is prefix? Prefix, as the name suggests, is any group of letters that is kept before any word, okay, which changes the meaning. Okay, so it says it's a group of letters added before a word to modify its meaning. For example, un is added to the word happy to make it unhappy, okay, and which changes the entire meaning. So happy means to be glad and unhappy means to be sad. Now suffix is another group of letters added to the word at the end of the word in order to modify its meaning. For example, if we add less to fear, it becomes fearless. Fear is something which is very frightening, or when we are frightened or scared of something, and fearless is the just opposite. We are not scared or frightened of something, so it completely changes the meaning. So this is what prefix and suffix is all about. Next question is, Rahul asked me, did you watch the movie last night? And we have to convert it into indirect speech. All right, so it can be said like, Rahul asked me if I had watched the movie the previous night. Remember to add the previous night and not the last night. Okay, so this is the sentence construction part. Next is, I came by an early flight. Now identify the part of speech. Here early is an adjective describing the noun flight. When did you come? You come early. Next question, what is a comma? So it is asking about comma and its usage. Explain briefly with an example. Now it is used as a punctuation mark to indicate a pause or separation in a sentence. It is used for various purposes such as separating items in a list, introducing additional information, or indicating a pause in a sentence. For example, I bought apple, bananas, and oranges from the grocery store. So we have to take little pauses, 1 or 2 second pauses, then we will apply comma in the sentence. Next sentence is I have been suffering from fever since last night, and it says to identify the tense. Now, since have been is used along with the ing form of the verb, okay, it has to be in present perfect continuous tense. So when you see the structure of present perfect continuous, has been, have been is there along with the main verb plus ing form, okay. So I have been suffering from the fever last night is a present perfect continuous tense. It indicates an action that started in the past and still ongoing and has a connection to the present, right? So this was all about this sentence. Next is do as instructed. Now it says congratulations dash your new job. On or for. It is always on your new job. You never say it for your new job. Okay. So congratulations on your new job. Now what is the use of passive voice? What is passive voice? So basically passive voice is used to shift the focus from the subject to the object in a sentence. As it says, it is used to shift the focus from subject of the sentence to the object or the receiver of the action. And why? It is often used when the subject is unknown, because the subject is unknown, unimportant, or when the speaker wants to emphasize the action rather than the doer. So when you want to emphasize the action rather than who is doing the action, then we use it the passive voice. The passive voice is formed by using auxiliary verb be with the past participle of the main verb. So when be is combined with the past participle of the main verb, it forms a passive voice. For example, the book was written by John. Okay, so written by John. Written here is the past participle form of the verb. Next is there is a friendship between him and she or her. So it will always be her. We do not use the pronoun she here because it's not an objective pronoun. It is a subjective pronoun which is always used in the beginning of the sentence. Her is a objective pronoun which is used at the end of the sentence. So there is a friendship between him and her is the right answer. He speaks English good. No, no. Good indicates the condition of something. He speaks English well means he is well aware of the language. He is well acquainted with the language. Now write two nouns which are also verbs. So you have to tell two nouns which act as a verb also and as a noun also. Two words. For example, the first word is email. Email can be a verb also and can be a noun also. अगर हम नाउन का एग्जांपल देखें, इट सेज आई रिसीव्ड एन ईमेल फ्रॉम माय फ्रेंड. ईमेल इज अ कॉमन नाउन, कोई भी ईमेल रिसीव कर सकते हैं हम, ठीक है. इट्स नॉट टेलिंग अबाउट एनी पर्टिकुलर ईमेल. सो आई रिसीव्ड एन ईमेल फ्रॉम माय फ्रेंड. ईमेल हियर इज अ कॉमन नाउन. नाउ व्हेन इट इज यूज्ड इन फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब, आई नीड टू email the document to my colleague. मुझे email करना है. Now here it is used as a verb. I need to email the document. Email means you have to send the document over electronic mail. Okay. Offer is another such word which acts like both noun and a verb. For example, he made me an attractive job offer. Okay, he made me an attractive job offer. Again, it's a common noun. It's a job offer, simple. It can be any job offer. But when used as a verb, they offered me a promotion at the work. Here, offered refers to a verb, okay, in the same sentence. So you can see that these two words can be used as a noun as well as a verb also. Next, justify the statement, any skills might get obsolete but communication skills. So what does the statement says? What does it mean? It says any skills might get unimportant or reduced over a period of time. The value may get reduced over a period of time, may become redundant, but not the communication skill. This is not the case with the communication skill. So it says the statement any skill might get obsolete but communication skill implies that while many skills may become outdated or irrelevant over time, communication skills are likely to remain valuable and necessary regardless of technological advancements or changes in the job market. Very simple and easy answer. This is due to the following. The reasons are also mentioned. Number one, it is the fundamental human need. It is required by each and every human individual. It teaches us adaptability. Okay. It also teaches us collaboration and teamwork. Okay. It is very much important for any kind of work to be, to happen and to achieve the organizational objectives. Leadership and management is another important. Leadership and management is Leadership and management is another important aspect of the communication skills. Okay. Next, we have consumer relations or customer relations, wherein we need to focus the same on the relationship that we built with the customer. Again, globalization and diversity is another important aspect where we need communication skills. Okay. And we desperately need it because we have to maintain the relationship with the rest of the world also, and that is also possible, only possible when we do either, when we communicate with them either verbally or non-verbally, right? So in order to achieve fundamental human need, adaptability, collaboration and teamwork, leadership management, customer relation, and globalization and diversity, it is of immense importance. Okay. So next question says, what is an interview? Explain in detail with its types and objectives. इंटरव्यू क्या है, उसके कितने टाइप्स होते हैं और उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है, एम क्या है, उसके बारे में पूछा जा रहा है. तो हम पहले इंटरव्यू को डिफाइन करेंगे. ओके. सो इट सेज एन इंटरव्यू इज अ फॉर्मल कॉन्वर्सेशन or interaction between two or more people, typically conducted by an interviewer or a panel of interviewers with the purpose of gathering information, assessing qualification, or evaluating a candidate's suitability for a job, maybe admission to an educational institution or participation in a research study, among other objectives. So interview kya hai? It is a kind of conversation or discussion between a group of people and known as interviewer and an interviewee who comes for the interview for the purpose of gathering information about him, his skills, his qualities, his background, his educational qualifications, his expertise, for the purpose of giving him a job or admission to an educational institution or participation in a research study and so on. So this is what interview is all about. Now let's see the second part of the question. It says, what are the different types of interviews? So there are so many different types of interviews that happens. It may be a job interview for the purpose of job. It may be a research interview wherein a candidate is interviewed for the purpose of research, where he is seen if he or she is compatible for the research work or not. Media interviews are there, where politicians and celebrities or other people who come and they are interviewed. Again, admission interview. If we go to a particular institute for our admission, then this admission interview takes place. Also, the objectives. Now, the second part contains the objectives also. It is asking the objective of the interview. What is the objective of the interview? Now, the main objective of the interviews are assessing qualifications. What qualification a person has, okay, and whether the qualification is suitable for the particular job requirement for this research interview, media, whatever interview he is going for. Okay, if suppose we are going for job interview, then only the qualification will be asked. Gathering information about his past background, evaluating communication skill, whether he is having a good communication skill or not, then assessing interpersonal skills, what kind of interpersonal skills he or she has, what kind of communication and what level of communication they can, it can happen with them, being a verbal communication, determining cultural fit, whether that person is aware of the culture of that particular organization or the people belonging to that organization where he is to be placed. And lastly, it says making selection decision. In making the decisions, deciding about the selection procedure, it is must to take the interview. So these are the basic objectives of the interviews. Now, while writing the objectives and the kinds, you will have to elaborate them also. Just don't just write the point. Suppose in the previous slide, we saw that types of interviews, wherein job interviews, research, media, admission. Okay, these four types of interviews. So you will have to define what is a job interview, what is research, what is media, and what is admission. What I told you right now. And in the objectives also, you'll have to define it in 2 to 3 lines, like assessing qualifications, what is assessing qualifications and why it is done, gathering information about what and why, okay, and so on and so forth. So for the same, all the 6 points you have to write or explain in 2 to 3 lines. Next, it says explain attitude, beliefs, values, and behavior with reference to persuasion and negotiation. Okay, this is one of the very important question, crucial question, because it comes over a period of time. It is always asked, and here it is asking, we need to understand the question first. It is wanting the attitude, belief, values, and behavior with reference to persuasion and negotiation. When persuasion or negotiation takes place, then what is the attitude, belief, values, and behavior of a particular person associated with that negotiation or persuasion. So let's see. Attitudes, belief, values, and behavior are interconnected psychological concepts. Okay, we need to understand first that they are all connected with each other, and they are psychological concept, means related to mind and brain, thinking process, thought process, and that plays an important role in the process of persuasion and negotiation. And it plays a very important role, a crucial role, when it comes to persuasion, persuading somebody, and negotiating somebody. Next part says, if we talk about attitude, now let's talk individually about the points. Attitude says, in persuasion and negotiation, understanding the attitude of others is essential because its attitude influence how people perceive and respond to persuasive messages. So very well, it is very much possible that the attitude of a particular person may influence the kind of perception and response that he or she has in regard to a particular message. So it is very important to understand the attitude and to know more about the attitude of a person when it comes to persuasion and negotiation. Next says beliefs. When persuading or negotiating, it is important to identify and address the belief of the target audience. Whatever the beliefs of the audience or the people whom we are referring to, okay, are there, we need to understand and identify them first. Okay, then only they will be able to concentrate and focus on what we are going to say by presenting evidence or arguments that align with the existing belief. Now we have to produce evidence and arguments in connection to the existing belief that is already existing, okay, or by challenging and changing their beliefs. Persuaders and negotiators can influence decision making process. So another way is either you challenge or change their belief, okay,
and then only it is possible to influence the decision making process. So after attitude and beliefs, the next is values. Now, in connection to persuasion and negotiation, what role does values play? In persuasion and negotiation, understanding the values of others helps persuaders and negotiators tailor their messages or proposals to resonate with those values. So it helps the person to resonate with the values, okay, in when it comes to persuasion and negotiation. Also, it says by appealing to shared values or demonstrating how their proposals align with their target audience value, they can increase the likelihood of the success. So when it comes to values, we need to understand that if we share the values or demonstrate how the proposals align with the target audiences, okay, whomever we are targeting or whomever we are explaining, if we are able to do justice with the thing, okay, if we are able to very well make them understand what we are trying to say, okay, and they align with the values of the persuaders, then only they can increase the likelihood of success. So we need to understand the values also. Next point is behavior. In persuasion and negotiation, understanding the target audience behavior is very crucial for predicting the responses and designing effective persuasive strategies. So we first need to understand the behavior of the audience, the target audience.
Now, when we talk about beliefs, once again we say that when persuading or negotiating, it is important to identify and address the belief of the target audience. Okay, so it's very much important to identify and address. Address means to pay attention, to clarify, okay, the beliefs of the target audience, and by presenting evidence or arguments, by giving a reasonable argument that aligns, that exists with the belief, okay, of the audience, or it can be done by challenging and changing their beliefs. Persuaders and negotiators can influence decision making process. Now next is values. If you talk about values in persuasion and negotiation, understanding the values of others helps persuaders and negotiators tailor their messages, okay, or proposals to resonate with those values. Now, also by appealing to shared values or demonstrating how their proposals align with the target audience's values, they can increase the likelihood of the success. So, this was all about values. Also, if we say now, I'll explain a bit more about the values. It says in persuasion and negotiation, understanding the values of other helps persuaders to tailor the messages accordingly. If you understand the values of others, what are the values and beliefs of others, then accordingly you can send or frame the messages so that it best suits them and they understand what we are going to, or somebody is going to address them. By appealing to the shared values or demonstrating how their proposals align with the target audience's values, also they can increase the likelihood of the success. So once you understand the values, okay, the persuaders and negotiators, if they understand the value of the target audience, then only the chances of success will be high. Next is behavior. In persuasion and negotiation, understanding the target audience's behavior is very crucial for predicting responses and designing effective persuasive strategies. Also, it says by observing and analyzing behavior, persuaders and negotiators can adjust their approaches, identify potential barriers, and develop strategies to overcome resistance or objections. So, once we understand the behavior of the target audience, once the negotiator or the persuader understands the behavior of the target audience, then only it is possible to adjust according to the approaches and identify the potential barrier and develop the strategy so that any resistance and objections could be overcome. So this was about values and behavior when it comes to persuasion and negotiation. In context of persuasion and negotiation, the interplay between attitudes, beliefs, values, and behavior is very crucial. Okay, persuaders and negotiators aims to influence these psychological factors to achieve their desired outcome. So these are some of the psychological factors which I told you, like attitude, beliefs, values, behavior. Okay, these are some of the factors, psychological factors that aim to influence the person's uh, thought process in respect of persuasion and negotiation, and then only the persuaders and negotiators can achieve their desired outcomes. Next question says, why do you think confidence, clarity, and fluency are instrumental for effective public speaking? Now it says confidence. Confidence is essential because it helps speakers to project credibility, authority. When you speak with confidence, you inspire trust and captivate your audience. So it is very true, when we speak with confidence, we definitely grab the attention of the audience. Clarity. If we talk about clarity, when you speak clearly, you eliminate confusion and ensure that your audience comprehends your ideas. Yes, it's very true. Clear communication facilitates better retention, of information and enhances the overall impact of your speech. And lastly, if we talk about the fluency, it says when you speak fluently, you come across as well prepared and knowledgeable, which enhances your credibility. Along with the fluency also helps us to maintain a connection with your audience, as interruptions or stumbling can create distractions and reduce engagement. So it is very important to cater to the three needs, that is confidence, clarity and fluency, okay, when it comes to effective public speaking. Now, so in the end, we can summarize it by saying overall confidence, clarity and fluency work together to create a powerful and effective public speaking presence. They help you to connect with your audience, communicate your message effectively, and leave a lasting impact. So, this is a well structured and well designed answer for this question. Next question is do as directed. Okay, so it says write one synonym of each, baffled and shiny. So we have to write one synonym for baffled and one for shiny. Baffled means perplexed and confused. Okay, so we can write confused, and shiny means glossy, something which shines. So the synonyms will be confused and glossy. Next, the antonym of arrogant and tardy. Arrogant means बहुत ही घमंडी, उसको अगर हम उसका निकाले तो humble will be the right word, and tardy is somebody who is careless, who is not punctual, so its antonym will be punctual. So the antonym for arrogant will be humble and tardy will be punctual. Next says he is dash university professor. He is a university professor because the vowel sound is does not exist. So we should use a what? We will not use an, we will use a. He is a university professor. Romeo said to Juliet, I like you very much. Now we have to provide a suitable punctuation mark. So we can rewrite the sentence like Romeo said to Juliet, comma, and in double inverted comma we will put I like you very much, the sentence or the quote of the Romeo. So this is the exact and suitable punctuation mark. I wish I and dash, I wish I dash a bird. I wish I were a bird. Okay, I were a bird. I के साथ हमेशा were आता है, was नहीं आएगा. So I wish I were a bird. Now rewrite the following sentences correctly. So if you study hard, then you will qualify the exam. Now we can put it in another way. Says if you study hard, comma, then you will qualify the exam. This is the right answer. The teacher said that the earth was revolving around the sun. It's a wrong sentence. The correct answer is the teacher said that the earth revolves around the sun. So this is the exact answer. Hindus practice idolatry. Do they? प्रॉपर क्वेश्चन टैग यहां नहीं लगा है. आइडोलेट्री मतलब होता है मूर्ति की पूजा करना, ठीक है. सो हिंदूज प्रैक्टिस आइडोलेट्री, डोंट दे? ओके, सो दिस शुड बी द राइट आंसर. आई वेंट टू द पार्टी विथ माई आंट एंड कजन सिस्टर्स. जब कजन लगा है तो वहां सिस्टर्स और ब्रदर्स की कोई जरूरत नहीं होती है, इट्स रिडंडेंट. सो द राइट सेंटेंस विल बी आई वेंट टू द पार्टी विथ माई आंट एंड कजन्स. Lastly, it says, I asked him to run fastly. There is no word called fastly. Okay, remember in the adjective series, I already told you there is no word in the English called fastly. So we can use I asked him to run quickly. Quickly should be the right answer. Now, the question says, describe negotiation along with its various approaches. Okay, so in this question, we need to first tell what negotiation is all about, and then we will delve into the various approaches. So let's see the answer. Now, negotiation is a process of discussion and communication between parties involved in a conflict or disagreement with the aim of reaching a mutually acceptable agreement or resolution. Okay, so what is negotiation? Process of discussion and communication between the parties to reach a particular agreement. Also, it says negotiation involves the exchange of ideas, interests, and proposals. Okay, in order to find common ground and resolve differences. Okay, in order to find common ground and resolve differences. So this, in these 2 points we have covered what negotiation is all about. Now let's see the approaches. Some of the main approaches are competitive or distributive negotiation. First, it says the focus is on claiming value and maximizing individual gains. Tactics such as bluffing, aggressive behavior, and positional bargaining are often employed. So, this is the very first and prime approach when it comes to negotiation. Competitive negotiation. Okay, so focus is on claiming value and maximizing individual gains. Okay, we are claiming and we need to why we claim? Because we need to maximize our gains. That is why we are claiming on something. Okay, and tactics such as bluffing is also there. Aggressive behavior and positional bargaining are often employed to take advantage of the situation. Next, it says collaborative negotiation. What is collaborative? It emphasizes cooperation, ओपन कम्युनिकेशन एंड प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग. सो कोलैबोरेटिव जैसा नाम ही सजेस्ट कर रहा है, कोलैबोरेट करना, इंटीग्रेट करना. उसमें क्या हो जाएगा आपका? कोऑपरेशन के साथ, ओपन कम्युनिकेशन के साथ, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग अप्रोच के साथ हम प्रोसीड करते हैं. पार्टीज वर्क टुगेदर टू फाइंड अ क्रिएटिव सोल्यूशन दैट सेटिस्फाई बोथ साइड्स नीड्स एंड इंटरेस्ट. और जो दोनों पार्टीज होती हैं वो एक दूसरे के नीड्स और इंटरेस्ट को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए क्रिएटिव सोल्यूशन को फाइंड आउट करती हैं. Trust building, active listening, and exploring common ground are key components. Lastly, we have compromising negotiation. This approach involves finding a middle ground or a compromise between the position of the parties involved. Both sides make concessions and give up certain demands to reach an agreement. So in this compromising negotiation, जैसे हम लोग compromise करते हैं कि भाई कुछ बातें आप मेरी मानिए, कुछ मैं आपकी मानता हूँ, and they give a little advantage, both sides give a little advantage to each other, and that is how they reach an agreement. Next is avoiding negotiation or withdrawal negotiation. And this approach, one or both parties choose to avoid or withdraw from negotiation process. They want to separate themselves from this negotiation process. It may occur when the issue is at hand is not significant, maybe which is not important, when the cost of negotiating outweighed the benefits, or when one party believes that the other is unwilling to reach a reasonable agreement. So this is when the cost of negotiating means जब ज्यादा फायदा नहीं होता है negotiate करने से, तो हम क्या करते हैं? अपने आप को withdraw कर लेते हैं. Either of the parties they try to withdraw themselves from this process and they just leave it. Okay, and that is why they are unwilling to reach a reasonable agreement जिसका कोई फायदा नहीं है. Lastly is accommodating or smoothing negotiation. इसमें क्या है? It says this approach involves emphasizing cooperation and focusing on maintaining relationships rather than pursuing individual interest. One party tends to give in or yield to others' demands or preferences. So इसमें क्या होता है कि दोनों में से कोई एक पार्टी दूसरे की बात मान लेती है और वहीं पे इशू सॉल्व हो जाता है. सो अवॉइडिंग और नेगोशिएशन में हम क्या करते हैं? अगर कोई negotiation is not of much importance, the parties try to withdraw itself, and in accommodating negotiation the parties try to adjust or give benefit to one another so that they can relieved, one of the parties can be relieved and the matter is closed over there. Next is principled negotiation. It involves separating people from the problem, focusing on objective criteria, generating multiple options, and insisting on fair standards. Okay, the aim is to find solutions that meet both the parties' interest while maintaining relationships. So this was about the principal negotiation, जहाँ पे involve separating people from the problem. लोगों को problem से अलग करके हम देखते हैं. Focusing on objective criteria कि what is the objective of this negotiation, and generating multiple options. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा option देने की कोशिश करते हैं, and insisting on fair standards according to the standards or the principle predetermined. The aim is to find solution to meet both parties' interest while maintaining relationship. Main aim ये होता है इस negotiation का कि दोनों पार्टी के relationship को maintain करते हुए कोई हल निकाला जाए, solution निकाला जाए. So finally, we can say that skilled negotiators are often employ a mix of approaches. So skilled negotiators often employ a mix of approaches. जितने भी हमारे skilled negotiators होते हैं, वो इन सारे approaches को use करते हैं, collectively mix करके use करते हैं, depending on the situation, the goal they aim to achieve. Okay, and the relationship they seek to build or maintain. So this was all about your negotiation and this question. So this is a well structured question जिसमें एक एक पार्ट का आंसर हम लोगों ने दिया है और अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया है. That will give you full marks. So in this video we covered up the section C of soft skill first, and thank you so much for watching the video. I hope it was informative to you, and we have another video coming for the next module wherein second semester soft skills second will be discussed accordingly, part 1 and part 2, section A and B, and section C in part 2. Thank you so much for watching. Make your learning simple and easy and subscribe our channel. Thank you.